I had a person I loved to the core. His name is Jake. He was the neighbor's older brother, my childhood sweetheart, and my fiancé. From the age of 4, when my family moved into this neighborhood, we were inseparable for 18 years. It felt like the natural course of events that we would end up together. I assumed it was the natural course of events that we'd get married, then have 1 or 2 adorable babies, and just spend our lives together, taking it all for granted. Until 3 days ago, when I was out to dinner with my University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, roommates and accidentally overheard his drunk truth. It turned out he didn't love me. Jake was incredibly good to me, to the point of being always there for me. He was so gentle, even if I just scraped a little skin, he'd hold me and comfort me in hushed tones for ages. I'd never once imagined he didn't love me. So that night, when I heard Jake say he didn't love me, I didn't rush over to confront him. Instead, I instinctively turned and fled. I spent 3 days forcing myself to accept reality, and in those 3 days, I made my decision. That morning, I went to Jake's company/office, walking straight into his office. Jake and his business partner, Ryan, looked up at me when they heard the sound. "I need to talk to you," I said, trying to sound composed. Jake's voice was as gentle as ever. "Chloe, I'll be done soon. Why don't you wait for me outside in the waiting area?" Before I knew it, I was sitting obediently on the sofa in the waiting area. Pathetic, I thought, biting my lower lip, annoyed that I had been swayed by Jake once again. Half an hour later, the office door opened from the inside, and Jake and Ryan walked out side by side. Ryan smiled and greeted me, then went off to do his own thing. Jake walked over, took my hand, and led me into the office. The office door closed behind us. "Do you love me?" I gazed into his eyes, trying to see through him. I had asked his question countless times since we started dating, but he had never given me a direct answer. Now, looking back, it was simply because he didn't love me. This time, Jake still didn't answer directly. Instead, he affectionately stroked my head. "What's wrong? Are you upset because I haven't had time to text you back the past few days?" Hearing that, my heart turned cold. He didn't even realize I hadn't texted him in days. I thought, I can really give up now, let's break up. Jake's brow furrowed. "Chloe, you're not a child anymore. You should know some things shouldn't be said lightly, not even as a joke." "A joke? No, I've never been more serious." I took off the ring and placed it in his hand. "Ava." In that moment, I finally saw a hint of panic in his eyes. But I didn't dare hope, didn't dare cling to any illusions. His panic must have been from being caught off guard, and the helplessness of not knowing how to explain it to our parents. The engagement/marriage plans, I lowered my gaze, holding back the tears that were about to fall. "I'll find a suitable reason to call it off. I promise not to cause you any trouble." I didn't have the energy to pay attention to Jake's expression. I simply turned and walked away. I got into a Uber in a daze, watching the scenery blur past outside the window. The gloom that had been suffocating my heart seemed to dissipate with it. "You're free now, Jake, without having to pretend to love me. Maybe you'll feel a little lighter too." Morning. Fragments of sunlight scattered into the room. I irritably turned my back, only to fall into an unexpectedly warm embrace. I looked up in surprise, my gaze slowly traveling up the man's semi-exposed chest beneath his shirt, stopping at the distinct red mole on his collarbone. The scream that was about to erupt died in my throat. I recognized the man. It was Jake. I quietly let out a breath of relief. "You scared me to death. I almost thought I had gotten swept up in the trend of drunken hookups and had a one-night stand defined as a one-night stand with a stranger. But if it was Jake, I could completely relax. Because he wouldn't touch me. We started dating when I was 17, and besides hugs and occasional kisses initiated by me, there had been no crossing the line between us. Even with kissing, he only grazed my lips, a quick touch and pull away, never the deep, passionate kisses I'd heard about from others. There was never any loss of control. For a long time, I thought it meant he loved me, cherished me, and wanted to save our precious first time for the most memorable wedding night. TCH, I was really deluding myself, but why was why was I in Jake's apartment? I tried hard to remember, and a few fragmented images flashed in my mind. Yesterday, after breaking up with Jake, I dragged my crazy friends to a karaoke room to toast to happy breakup, chugging several cups of Sprite mixed with beer in one go. And then, there was no then. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in my ex-boyfriend's bed, and it seemed like I was the one who had hugged him first. "Oh my God, Ava, can you please get a grip? You were the one who broke up with him. How could you come back and cling to him, throwing yourself into his arms right after?" I stealthily peeked at Jake, confirming he was fast asleep. So I carefully eased myself out of his embrace. I rolled myself completely 2.5 times backwards, landing smoothly on the floor, with a loud thud. Asterisk. Asterisk, I winced, holding my sore butt. Heh. A meaningful light chuckle drifted from the air. My body stiffened, and I mechanically turned my head to meet a pair of amber eyes that were half smiling. Jake propped himself up on the bed. Not getting up? Want me to come over and pick you up? Who wants you to pick them up? I retorted irritably, getting to my feet using my hands and legs. I was drunk yesterday, I don't remember anything. If I offended you in anyway, I apologize first. Offended? Jake raised an eyebrow, looking me up and down. How do you want to offend me? Like, forcing yourself on me? I don't think you could manage that. I was stunned, unable to believe my ears. What shameless things was this guy saying? Chloe, Jake sat on the edge of the bed and familiarly took my hand. You know you can't hold your liquor, you get drunk with just a sip. Promise me you won't drink anymore, okay? Okay, I promise. I pulled my hand away and bent down to pick up my coat that had fallen on the floor. I won't drink anymore, and I won't come looking for you again. Jake paused. Chloe, I forgot I have class this morning. I feigned panic, turned away from Jake's gaze, and hurried out of the room. As soon as I put on my shoes, Jake's voice came from behind me. Wait a few minutes for me, I'll wash up quickly and take you back to school. I stood in the foyer/entryway, hand on the door handle, my back to Jake. No need, transportation is very convenient downstairs. After saying that, I twisted the door handle and walked out. The slowly closing apartment door felt like an invisible barrier, separating Jake and me into two worlds. Go our separate ways. Maybe this was the best ending for us. Back in the dorm room, I flopped onto the bed like a dead fish. Before long, the dorm room door opened, and my other 3 roommates came back. Oh, Chloe, when did you get back? Olivia tilted her head. I replied weakly, just got back. Oh, just got back, Megan intentionally dragged out the end of her sentence, grinning ear to ear. Was it a wild night yesterday? Emma, ooh, I'm interested in this. Chloe, if you don't mind, spill the details. I'd need something to actually happen to spill the details, I said, annoyed, pushing away Emma's gossipy face that was getting closer and closer. Olivia, no way? Emma, with the way you guys were yesterday before you left, I thought, ahem. Olivia nodded. Get Emma with her elbow, changing the subject. Chloe, it's almost noon. Go wash up, we're going to the cafeteria/dining hall to eat. Oh, okay. I grabbed a change of clothes and went into the bathroom, unaware that the 3 of them outside were holding hands in a circle, freaking out silently. As for me, just as I unbuttoned my shirt, I found a small purplish bruise on my collarbone, in roughly the same spot as Jake's red mole. I stared at it for a moment. Did I bump into something last night? Strange, it didn't hurt though. Outside, Emma was urging, Chloe, hurry up, the cafeteria/dining hall has your favorite chicken parmesan today. Coming. Hearing there was chicken parmesan, I didn't think about it anymore and sped up my washing. Half an hour later, I sat at the table with 3 portions of chicken parmesan and munched happily. Olivia, not getting rice, just eating the ribs? So much meat, that's enough. Over the next week, I attended classes as usual, spending most of my other time in the dorm room pondering my life choices. To be precise, I was thinking about what excuse I could use to call off the engagement/marriage plans. I had said it so easily back then, that I would handle both sets of parents, but in reality, I tore at my hair. Olivia, Emma, and Megan were used to my periodic freakouts. Olivia, playing a game on her tablet, didn't forget to remind me, keep doing that and you'll go bald. Emma sat in front of me and asked helplessly, Sweetie, are you sure about this breakup? Yes. As if Ava, would bother keeping someone who doesn't love me tied down. Like I can't find anyone else. Megan put down her phone. Chloe, I still haven't asked, why are you breaking up with your guy? Emma stared at me intently, and Olivia's eyes were focused on her tablet screen, but her ears were pricked. He's not my guy. Megan, oh, okay. Then why are you breaking up with that guy? We broke up already. Why, I don't want to talk about it. I lowered my gaze, my eyes quietly turning red. Emma and Megan exchanged a look. Alright, if you don't want to talk about it, don't, Megan suggested. I heard a new karaoke room opened off campus, and they have a great discount, half price on everything. We don't have class tomorrow, want to party all night? Emma, yeah. Olivia, no objection. First of all, I'm not drinking. Their special cocktails don't have alcohol, Megan said, showing me a picture on her phone. See? It says zero alcohol content in the bottom right corner. I was captivated by the adorable pink cocktail on the screen, and when I heard it had zero alcohol, I instantly changed my tune. Let's drink, let's drink. And so, coincidentally, I experienced my second blackout. Afterwards, the situation was eerily similar to a morning a week ago. I woke up in someone's arms again. It was just worse this time. I wasn't wearing clothes. Neither was he. And I could distinctly feel an unfamiliar sensation on my body. I didn't know how to describe it, but it felt weird, everything felt off. Undoubtedly, this was the legendary aftermath. Shit. Who said zero alcohol wouldn't get you drunk? Since I couldn't remember anything that happened while I was drunk, I was in a particularly passive situation. If I could, I'd bury myself alive somewhere deserted, preferably deep in the earth, never to see the light of day again. But the arm draped across my waist, holding me tightly, had a strong presence that I couldn't ignore and couldn't break free from. All I could do now was stare straight ahead at the ceiling, lighten every breath, and try not to wake Jake, hoping to delay the time when I had to face reality. Time passed minute by minute. A double wave of mental and physical exhaustion washed over me. My eyelids kept drooping, my vision blurred, and my tense thoughts gradually drifted. Alright, I blacked out again. This time it wasn't from being drunk or having lingering alcohol in my system, just from simply falling asleep. When I opened my eyes again, the room was dim, with only threads of white light filtering through the gap in the curtains, like twinkling stars, making my eyes swim. I instinctively raised a hand to shield them, but my wrist was suddenly grabbed, and the hand around my waist tightened abruptly. Trying to run, again? Jake's voice had a hint of gritted teeth. In that moment, my danger senses were screaming in my head. I was sure if my answer didn't satisfy Jake, I was doomed. I wasn't trying to run, I said, knowing I was lying, lacking conviction. In the dim light, I couldn't make out Jake's expression or judge his mood. I only felt a hot breath on my neck after I spoke, getting closer and closer. Suddenly, he bit into the skin of my neck, holding it between his teeth. It didn't hurt, but it was enough to scare me. As if I was about to be mercilessly devoured. I gasped, trembling slightly. Why are you biting me? It was meant to be a complaint, but somehow it came out sounding more like a playful complaint. Jake didn't make any further moves but didn't let go either, just gently nipping. I couldn't help but blush, pushing against his chest with my hands. Let go of me. Jake's lips loosened slightly. Still running? I swear. Jake, swear what? Swear I won't run away. Who swears? Me, A threatening tone. I swear I won't run away. His deliberate wordplay was exposed, and I could only reluctantly complete the sentence. Then I heard Jake give a heavy tisk. So, anything else you want to say? I thought Jake still didn't believe me, so I emphasized again, I really won't run away. Absolutely won't. I'm not going anywhere, not even if you kill me. Jake, me. Why did the atmosphere feel off? Did I say something wrong? Sigh. Jake sighed helplessly, kissing me lightly on the corner of my mouth. Get dressed. We need to tea. Alk properly. In the living room, I sat curled up in the corner of the sofa, hugging my knees. Jake sat on the coffee table directly opposite me, watching me. He wasn't speaking, seemingly considering how to start, or perhaps waiting for me to speak first. I timidly looked away, not daring to meet his gaze. Finally, just as I couldn't stand his gaze any longer and was about to give in, Jake spoke. Jake, Ava. I reflexively answered, here. Why did you break up with me? Huh? I turned back, a beat late, a little stunned by the sudden question. Weren't we supposed to be talking about the stupid things I did while drunk last night? Jake, if it's because I didn't notice you weren't contacting me for a few days, then I apologize. I admit, as a boyfriend, as a fiancé, I haven't been good enough, haven't been attentive enough in many things. But Chloe, you shouldn't have said break up. Those words carry too much weight. Wait. How much weight? Could it weigh more than how I felt when I heard you say you didn't love me? Jake. I sat up straight, looking him in the eye. I don't want to love you anymore. I could clearly see Jake's face darken terribly when I said that. I shouldn't have confessed to you that year. And you shouldn't have responded to my expectations. Let's end things now, while it's still possible, before we hurt each other more deeply. Ending things this way is for the best for everyone. Jake took a deep breath, managing to suppress the rising anger within him. Are you serious about all this? Yes. Jake leaned forward, his slightly bent knees pressing into my inner thighs, pushing me down onto the sofa. My hands were crossed above my head, easily pinned by a strong hand. "What are you doing?" I struggled in a panic, trying to escape from under him. Jake loomed over me, his thin lips parted slightly, spitting out two clear words. "Heartbreaker." I was caught off guard by the insult, and then I saw Jake's eyes turn red. Honestly, seeing him like that, I felt a pang of sympathy and was about to say something comforting. Then I heard him say, "Ava, how could you not want me?" My temper flared instantly. Wait, why is he blaming me? He was the one who said he didn't love me. I wanted to defend myself, but before I could open my mouth, I heard his accusation again. "How could you say you don't want me after having your way with me?" I had nothing to say. Don't ask, because I was guilty. I was the one who said break up, and I was the one who blacked out twice after breaking up and came back to sleep with him. The first time was literally sleeping with him, this time was actually sleeping with him. Asterisk help. Someone tell me what to do now. Asterisk if only I could go back and stop it from happening, like in novels, or just lose my memory. Wait, lose my memory. Banking on the fact that I blacked out and didn't remember anything, I brazenly denied reality. Having my way with you? Don't know, don't remember, don't care. Jake's piteous expression froze instantly. Trying that trick on me? I continued to play dumb. What trick? I'm just telling the truth. Don't think you can just accuse me unfairly just because I was drunk. Unless you have concrete proof, I deny everything. Jake laughed. A room full of evidence isn't enough? I thought of the mess in the room, my cheeks quickly flushed, but I insisted on denying it to the end. Who knows what happened? What if you personally staged the crime scene? Crime scene, Jake nodded thoughtfully. Yes, it is your crime scene. I should call the police right now and have them collect evidence. Saying that, Jake made a show of picking up his phone. No. I tried to reach for it, but my hands were pinned down tight and I couldn't move a muscle. Jake's long fingers tapped lightly on the screen. 9-1, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Seeing Jake about to dial the third digit, I chickened out. Jake's fingers paused. He finally read me a look. Willing to admit the crime now? I nodded resignedly. If I didn't admit it now, I'd go to jail. Very good. Jake was satisfied with my sensible attitude. Then how do you plan to handle the aftermath of this? Pretend nothing happened. Before I could finish, I was so scared by Jake's dark expression that I quickly changed my tune. Definitely not. Jake's fingers traced upwards along my waist, finally resting on my vulnerable neck. Ava, play any more games, and I won't hesitate to choke you right now. I swallowed with some difficulty, afraid he would actually choke me, and could only face reality. Then how do you want me to handle this? Jake, my demand isn't high, just take the responsibility you should. What responsibility? I asked, confused. Jake cupped my chin and kissed me before I could react. I gazed at his face so close to mine, no longer able to think of anything else, so easily controlled by Jake. When I woke up again, it was late into the night. Jake was holding me tightly. Awake? Jake's voice was hoarse, with a hint of sleepiness. I stared at him blankly, not fully coming to my senses for a while. I had known Jake for so many years, 4/5 of my life had been touched by his presence. But now, I realized I didn't understand him at all. If I blamed everything that happened last night on my not being sober, what about him? He could have refused. He could have stopped things from getting to this point, yet he initiated what just happened. I pressed my lips together and asked the question in my heart. What exactly are you thinking? Thinking about you, Jake whispered ambiguously in my ear. I blushed uncontrollably, my heart started pounding wildly. You, Jake, so, tell me, why on earth did you break up with me? Hearing that, I was instantly pulled back to cold reality, my mood plummeting. Seeing my silence, Jake pressed on stubbornly. Dumped without a clear reason, even saying you wanted to call off the engagement/marriage plans. Ava, I'm not a mind reader. I can't guess what's on your mind. Can't you just tell me to my face what you're thinking or what your concerns are? I bit my lower lip. I just wanted to ask why you didn't love me, but I was afraid of hearing the answer I dreaded most from you. Jake stared at me intently. Perhaps genuinely not knowing what to do, he helplessly buried his chin in my neck, his tone almost pleading. Jake, please, just tell me clearly. Even if you want me dead, at least let me die knowing why. I frantically covered Jake's mouth. Don't talk about dying. Quick, knock on wood. How can you say something so unlucky? Jake held my hand back and brought it to his lips. It was only then that I noticed the sparkling diamond ring on my left ring finger. My mind went blank for a moment. I looked at Jake, confused. A hint of a smile appeared in Jake's eyes. You gave the engagement ring back to me, so I thought maybe you didn't like it. I had this one specially customized. I wasn't I instinctively wanted to argue but sheepishly stopped. Then why? I took a deep breath, throwing caution to the wind. Because you don't love me. Jake's expression stiffened. Seeing Jake's look, I thought he was admitting it. Boo-hoo, Jake looked so wronged he seemed about to get depressed. Where did you get that conclusion? You said it yourself. When did I ever say that? Jake was completely bewildered, feeling more wrong than anyone. That day, I recounted the entire incident exactly as it happened, not missing a single detail. Jake fell into a long silence after listening. My eyes were wet with tears. Now what do you have to say? You called me a heartbreaker. I think you're the complete jerk/scumbag. Jake rubbed his forehead, feeling a headache coming on. Chloe, you can't just listen to half of what I say. My exact words were, I can't just say I love Chloe, because a single word like love isn't enough to express my feelings for her. My lips parted slightly. I stared at Jake, utterly stunned. Huh? So I had been making a fuss all this time, torturing myself? Jake couldn't resist reaching out and poking my forehead, complaining, I haven't been able to eat or sleep properly these past few days. All I can think about is you breaking up with me. I'm practically traumatized. I felt inexplicably guilty. Ha ha ha. I gave a few dry laughs, my eyes starting to dart away. Jake, how do you plan to compensate me? Compensate? I looked down at myself, then up at him, blushing. I already gave myself to you. Jake shook his head. You already belong to me. That was bound to happen eventually, it doesn't count as compensation. My eyes widened in astonishment. How could this guy casually say something so shameless? Then what do you want? Marry me. I couldn't help but hold my breath. What did you say? I said, marry me. Jake pulled out a silver wedding band/simple band from somewhere, placing it in my palm. Put it on me yourself, and you'll get to marry me just as you wished. Come on, I'm ready. I was about to be touched, but after thinking about what he said, something felt off. Seeing that I didn't move, Jake asked, you're not thinking of abandoning your husband and child, are you? Huh? I seriously doubted my IQ. Why was I always a step behind Jake's thought process? Abandoning your husband and child. That's a serious accusation. Jake is arguably the husband, but where did the child come from? Jake leaned close to my ear and whispered something. My eyes widened in shock. Oh my god, this guy. I couldn't believe my ears. Jake said he didn't use protection last night, and I wasn't in the safe period, so I must already be carrying his baby. He even knew if I was in the safe period. In that instant, it all clicked. What happened when I was drunk last night, was that related to you? Jake chuckled lightly. Why, not admitting it, but not denying it either. No wonder. No wonder my 3 roommates yesterday at the karaoke room weren't picking songs. They kept finding excuses to toast with me. I had wondered why I blacked out even though I drank 0 alcohol cocktails. It turned out they were all in on it together to trick me. I truly didn't know whether to laugh or cry now. Should I cry about how stupid I was, or laugh about what an idiot I was? Those 2 insults felt about the same. Anyway, I was just brainless. I was so mad. Jake put his arm around my shoulder and pulled me closer, coaxing softly, okay, don't be angry. Now that things have come to this, what's done is done. What you should be prioritizing now are our marriage plans. Can I not consider them? I suddenly didn't want to get married anymore. Jake didn't answer my question, just expressionlessly held out his left hand in front of me. Jake, last chance. I looked at him, then down at the wedding band/simple band clutched in my hand. Alright, this is some unique way of pressuring someone into marriage. Ava, Jake said in a low voice. For some reason, I felt a chill run down my spine, a creepy feeling. I felt like I was doomed. I didn't dare hesitate and quickly put the ring on him. Done. Jake straightened his long fingers, turning his hand over and over to look at the ring. A perfect smile played on his lips. Seeing his smile, I couldn't help but smile too. 3 months later, during the summer vacation after junior year, we got married. The wedding was on August 3rd, my birthday. I wasn't pregnant. That was a matter of probability, not something Jake could make happen with a few words. Jake was slightly disappointed, but I felt lucky. I didn't want any external factors to change my study plans. Originally, Jake and I were planning to get married the year I graduated from University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Getting married now, as Jake said, was to give each other a real sense of security. In today's society, the boundary between love and not love isn't always clear. But we would become each other's strongest support and do our best to help each other become better people. As I had hoped, to spend our lives together, taking it for granted. Wait. On our wedding night, I turned over and evaded Jake lunging at me, placing a foot on his chest. Jake grabbed my ankle, a vein throbbing on his forehead, a look of suppressed pain on his face. Ava, say what you need to say quickly, don't test my patience. I lifted my head proudly. I haven't asked you yet, why didn't you want to touch me before that mistake? Jake, you didn't want to. When did I not want to? You said you were afraid of pain. A drop of sweat from Jake's neck fell onto me, but he looked at me with determination. I didn't want you to be in pain, so I kept holding back. Then why did you take advantage of me when I was drunk? Jake gave a hell laugh. Alcohol can numb the pain. You blacked out anyway, you wouldn't feel anything. I forgot. This guy is best at calculating everything. I actually fell into his trap like this, sinking deeper and deeper, unable to escape. A tug on my ankle brought me back to reality. I saw Jake's face getting closer and closer, his chest pressing down. Now, can we continue? I returned a slightly provocative smile. You guess? I guess,